sometimes allowing yourself to be exactly where you are is the only thing that lets you be elsewhere. What does that mean? It's really simple. It's just simply accepting where you are, being okay with the predicament or the emotion or the sensation of stuckness, and just sitting with it. The last few weeks, months, I made a video about how I was feeling last, and this overall encompassing feeling that I've been experiencing within my being is feelings of failure, feelings of unworthiness, lack of purpose. Basically, I've just been feeling a combination of very negative things towards myself, and I've been very stuck in those ideologies, those thought processes, and I kept reminding myself of these narratives of my shortcomings, and it felt like a very cyclical pattern of thoughts. And I, in the moment, felt comfortable enough upon talking to my dad he was talking about what he's been struggling with, and I told him some of my current struggles, and he said something so simple and something that we all know and we all need to hear at times. I told him, I feel like a failure. I don't feel good enough. I feel like I'm failing my children when I'm impatient or tired or burnt out. I feel like I don't have friendships and I'm unworthy of them. And I told him all these things, and he's in agreement with me, not to reassure me, no, you are not those things. He just said, yeah, and so? Kind of just in conjunction with where he's at mentally. And it took me by a pleasant surprise to not be in that moment. I wasn't looking for validation. I wasn't looking for him to tell me I wasn't any of those things. And so I feel like his response was what I needed in that moment. And we both laughed immediately about it. And it just was this reminder that, okay, yeah, I have failed at some things. And in certain moments, I do have shortcomings. And what if I am those things that I think about myself? What if I just allow for me to be those things and not hold myself to a standard, and to just say, okay, and it kind of just allowed me to see the humor in the comedy, in the self-obsessed criticism that I carry. And it makes you think about the fact that, okay, does it define me as my entirety, my totality? Am I in totality, am I a failure because I have failed on several things? I have not met myself in a way that I would appreciate or want to. Does that make me, as a whole, a failure or a being of unworthiness or a loser? No. And yes. It's kind of funny to try to explain. It's like, no, I am not in my whole being these things. I am a combination of things. I have a lot of successes. I have a lot of really good qualities. And to try to negate and push away, okay, if my dad were to be like, no, you're not a failure, you're not a loser, and which I'm sure he believes those things of me, but to meet me where I was and just embrace me where I was is what I needed to do the same. To meet yourself where you are in total acceptance and to say, okay, and that's it. It frees you from the restraint and the obsession of needing to escape it in a way. This reminds me of so many things throughout my life, and I'm sure some of you may have experienced in general with just addiction. For me personally, the only things that have ever allowed me to cut the ties of addiction have been acceptance, of just saying, okay, I'm here, and that's okay. It's okay to be where I am, and to loosen the restraint of shame, of guilt, of judgment, and just say, okay, this is where I choose to be in this moment. It's not forever, it's not permanent, but this is where I am, and I'm allowing myself to be here because for whatever reason I need to feel this shame, I need to feel this pity, I need to feel this ache and this suffering, because it is a part of my being. And if I just try to run away and say, no, I'm love, light, and truth, and sorry, I wasn't sure if that was my son, and everything beautiful, and I feel like that's just running away from embracing who we are as humans. We make mistakes, we have shortcomings, we have dark moments, and I believe that is the human expression, is to accept yourself in all of its totality, to accept yourself sometimes as a loser, sometimes as a failure, sometimes as a very independent, strong, courageous person. I don't want to suppress certain feelings. I want to have my human experience be raw and honest, but in a safe place where I don't impulsively act out on thoughts that come and go. Because as I'm seeing, some days I feel like a loser, some days I feel like a failure, like I just am not deserving of so many things. And then the next day, I feel totally fine. I don't feel any negative feelings towards myself. It's another day. I pick myself up and I go and I move forward and I serve others and I listen to others and give advice and try to be supportive when I need to. But all of the stages of our being is necessary. I don't know if it's eternity to wave back and forth between the two, but I do believe that thoughts are temporary, feelings are temporary, and to act upon those feelings and those thoughts is a dangerous place to be. I think the whole point of the human experience is to realize everything is fleeting, everything. And you can't make an impulsive decision based off of fleeting thoughts, feelings, emotions, moments. to say the least, even today, I had these overwhelming feelings. Even at the gym, I couldn't breathe because I felt the comparison, the anger that I've had towards myself. I felt so inadequate. I left, I cried in the car, I just let it out, the emotion, the feeling, I sat with it and experienced it. And then I go in the house and my kids and my husband are there and dinner is there and it's behind me. And yes, I experienced that and I still have the sensation of it, but I don't need to fully live it. It's just a series of happenings. Everything in life is a series of happenings. But to say the least, all I'm trying to express is just be where you need to be. Don't act on it. Just mentally be where you need to be sometimes. Accept yourself in it with loving, compassion, awareness, patience, like a child. And the sooner you can accept yourself for where you are, the sooner you are free from it. So many things in life is this example. As I talked about addictions, and a specific example of this, when I was a teenager, I had throughout my life, I've had a lot of addictions. One being self-harm. Two being growing up in a very religious, my home wasn't necessarily overbearingly religious, but I was in a religion that was very suppressive. I grew up LDS and I was constantly taught how to almost shame my body for its natural purposes. But as a kid, I was very, very, very addicted to pornography. And I spent a lot of my life not being able to cut the ties of that. And once I matured and found autonomy and independence and was able to walk away from this organization that made me feel so suppressed in a lot of ways. That's a whole different video. And I learned to just accept where I was and love myself through my stuckness, my sins, I guess you can say, in that context. I dropped that addiction, and it didn't happen overnight, but it was probably the most physical manifestation of accepting yourself and being free of it that I experienced. I hardly do that anymore, and I don't feel this intense urge to, because many, many years ago, I just tried to say, it's okay to be here. And I find it to be very, very interesting that there have been many phases in my life of different addictions where I've done this, and it's so much easier to just heal and walk away from the things that hurt you, that you hurt yourself with. Another being self-harm. I spent a majority of my life self-harming. It was a very, very much an addiction for me. And that was a way longer process for me to work through, but I, over time, remembered that lesson of just being where you are and sitting with yourself, feeling what it is to be exactly there and not try to control it, not try to be better, but just to really sit with yourself to fully experience the totality of the emotion behind it. And then over time, I put that behind me, and I put a lot of things behind me, and now I am working on something that I've carried throughout all of it, which is extremely low self-esteem, I can't say extreme, but very intense hatred towards myself. And I've remembered again because of my dad's comment. And so, this is where I am. This is where I need to be at the moment, and it's not forever. And I will come out the other end of this very negative relationship with my identity and myself. I hope this wasn't too long, and I hope this wasn't just too all over the place. But I try to give some examples. I try to clarify to what extent I mean by this. It's such a simple thing, yet we make it so complex. And it's worked for me. I hope that it can work for you. And I know in some instances with certain addictions, this is not 100% or even 80% achievable, I guess. Because substances, for instance, that's a chemical thirst for that. But I think the mental and emotional addiction behind it all, the first step is to just accept where you are, and to not shame and judge yourself for being where a part of you needs to be. Anyways, I hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you soon.